the Everyday Entrepreneur Podcast. First episode, pilot episode. I've been talking about this podcast for a long, long time. 2 years in the making. It's an honor and privilege to have my first moved into my place. This guy's the ultimate neighbor you could ever have in life. Opened me off open arms and made a promise he'd be the first guest. So let me introduce you to Ken Calvin.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How y'all doing? Big Steve, you the man. I love people that follow through on their word.
I heard that, man. It's an honor to have you here in man, pilot episode.
You know, one of the things I talked about loving about, you never know who you're going to meet as neighbors. You know what I mean?
That's the truth.
I've been here 10 years. You come in, but, you talked about some of the things that you wanted to do. You helped me do a lot, from an audio perspective, being an audio guy that you are with the family stuff. But seeing people follow through on their own visions gives me a zest for life that you couldn't imagine. So I'm proud of you, man. That's beautiful.
Every day, we come and go early in the morning to sundown and come and go, You pull up, I'm leaving. Right. You're leaving, I'm pulling up.
and what's ironic about our lives, even though we work, you work in entertainment, from an audio and technical perspective. I work in entertainment from a talent and executive perspective. We both work in sales from a beverage perspective.
Yep. Many years.
You know what I mean? Many years of beverage. Well, I'm new to the beverage game. You got more experience
no joke,
to the
man,
beverage game than me.
You got to put food on the table for your family, man.
Right.
Yeah, these hands touch thousands of cases of Pepsi.
Right. And that's what I was telling my partners. We run with Plush Vodka. I'm a territory executive for Plush Vodka. We get into that later. But the beauty of when I first got the experience, we were neighbors.
Yep.
Before I even had the opportunity.
The fruition.
You kind of gave me some insight on some of the sales perspective of what I'm going to have to deal with trying to break in to a game independently with a new product, and how I needed to go about it. And I was like, man, this dude cool as hell, man.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Let's be clear, man. It's no DSD delivery. It's no joke, man. I mean, it's tough. I mean, either you got it or you don't got it.
Right.
See a lot of people come and go, turnover rates crazy.
Right. Even brands come and go, too, from a customer perspective. Because, I sit back, think about the different favorite beverages we had when we were drinking before we should be drinking, right? You know what I mean? Or even from a regular beverage standpoint, Mystics and,
Mad Dog 2020.
Whatever we were drinking and mixing our drinks with, Sacco and gin. You can't find a bottle of Sacco no more, right?
Nope.
Based on brands don't last like they used to. You got to be able to maintain. You part of Pepsi. That's one of the biggest brands in the world, man. How I feel to be part of that major brand, from a branding perspective.
I mean, it's cool, man. I mean, it's not as glamorous as it sounds like, but it taught me a lot. I mean, back in the day, I used to be real quiet, real shy, not kind of the quiet guy in the background, just kind of getting by.
Right.
Well, that job, man, you gotta. If you don't sell, you don't get no money, man.
Right, and I'm learning that too. Cause,
it's not like you have a choice. Either we got this, you need to figure it out and set it up and get it out there. You got case requirements and everything. It adds up real quick, man.
Now I'm learning. I'm learning that perspective.
And you got shit that people don't. It's brand new shit. People don't know what it is. And you got certain amount of cases you got to sell a week, per month. You have a certain volume requirement. If you don't hit that requirement, then it's what's up,
Right.
You're gonna do it, or you're gonna have to find somebody else. It's real cutthroat, man.
And that's what I'm learning from a perspective of not everybody's gonna make the journey. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like we have people who we bring into the brand. Even for me, like, I'm blessed to be in the position I'm in with the product that I'm getting to work. But there comes a point where not everybody can make the journey if they don't meet those numbers and the energy ain't matching the effort.
Yeah, just let me tell you, man, I never seen for a launch for a product, the distribution within a year I see every day on Facebook and in the gram, man. It's like, damn, this guy, I just seen him leave the house. He's in Long Beach. He's in the Bay Area. It's like, damn. Did he come back the same day? It's like, how do you do all that? Like 3-4 accounts in one day.
Well, that's the fun. That's the fun part about California that I explained to my college partners down south. Because I played college football in Arkansas.
And that's not easy too. I mean, in a different city, you really don't know your way around. But to land accounts and even a couple cases, that's huge, man.
Right.
From a zero distribution to 3-4 cases a week or a month.
Right.
It's a lot.
It's definitely a team effort though. A lot of times I'm just a messenger getting the information to go meet people that have built the bridges for us to be in those positions too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, and our team is very small, but just as we growing, you find a way to kind of build those relationships, like you said, shake the right hands to where people start building a bridge for you to actually help get the product farther. So that's kind of what we've done, from a California perspective of bringing the Plush Vodka this way. We'll slide the bottle in.
Yeah, the bottle alone's nice
just to
as
let
it
y'all
is, man.
see it. Not product plugging or nothing. This is this family business. Being in here with Steve. But ultimately he's been part of watching us grow from not one bottle sold to our first store around the corner.
Yeah, the Verdugo Market.
Verdugo Market.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sonny and Verdugo Market.
It's a nice market too.
Out of Verdugo 6, 8, and everywhere else. But now to 3,000 accounts and getting our first Walmart account this week.
Oh man, that's huge. Walmart's
on the East Coast.
Walmart's like the VIP customer that everybody wants, man.
Right.
Yeah, once it starts on one local store, it blows up.
Got you. We hoping that keeps pushing, man. A lot to talk about on that end. We launch in Texas in May. We launch in Vegas. Shout out to Malcolm Hale, CEO of Plush Vodka. I'm just a link in the chain, guys. I'm not the owner of Plush Vodka, but I'm part of the executive team that helped bring it to California with the direction of Richard Daly. And it's amazing effort from a coast to coast perspective because we're very small.
If you lose that one link in that chain, man, that chain no good.
Right.
Unless you got a wilding machine or something, stand by.
Right. It's definitely a blessing. This the beauty of us being able to do this podcast is because we pulling up, like you said, vice versa. You getting off at 3, I'm getting off at 6 or whatever, and we coming in, we talking about our day, we catching up, not realizing how much ground we covered together as a unit. You know what I mean?
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
So I know you got the plush thing going on, but you're a man of many hats, and I don't know how you keep up, man. I mean, you tell me your little day to day activities, like, man, you must go through a lot of gas.
Man, right. I used to get reimbursed for some of them miles too. The mileage reimbursement ain't as big as it used to be, but definitely one of the things that always kept me sane growing up in Bakersfield. And I'm a Bakersfield baby, born in KMC. Went to Bessie-Owens, BHS, Compton, Emerson.
Talk about throwback schools.
Emerson until they kicked me out and sent me back to Compton. Like, that's the kind of childhood I had. So when you live in so many different areas, you got to be able to communicate in many different languages.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of built me for the kind of life that we had. And then, going to Bakersfield High was kind of like a small city. You had to be able to communicate.
Maneuver in there, man.
With so many different populations.
Especially back then, you wouldn't, early 80s, 90s?
Class of 94.
94?
I'm what they call an OG some circles. But, just being able to,
Luckily, it was a good period of time. I mean, 90s were great, man.
Right. We undervalue the 90s, man. Right.
Yeah, today not so much.
I'm glad you touched on that, man.
Yeah, man.
We took the 90s for granted, man.
I know. I think about that. I was fortunate enough to, not too old, but, not too young to kind of enjoy that music, the vibe, the economy.
Right. And you I mean, even as us being neighbors, we talk about family members we got in common, and your uncle.
I know.
Your uncle that used to work in the game.
Yep.
When I was rapping as a young cat, he used to manage For You to See. And, some of the other people that was in the shows that we would perform at, when I was with Mad Men and my whole group, rest in peace, Casey Walker, and Billy Cleveland. But,
and I would be at a lot of those shows. I mean, I was a little young mustache, but I was there, man.
Yeah. But same thing for me. Like, I was 10 years old. And my cousins was producing and bringing artists in to Bakersfield, and I'm being able to open up, not realizing what I was part of as a young kid, man. And that's kind of why these lanes are still open to us.
Just the experience alone is worth it.
Yeah, just the experience. But that's the beauty of who we are and being able to have this podcast, too, just to go. We're going to reflect on some of this history, man. It's just episode 1, so we're going to dig in.
This ain't going to be the first or the last. It's just, kind of working through it. But let's go and get into your different types of jobs here. I know you're not just tied down to the plush. I mean,
right.
You wrote books.
Right.
Tripped me out, man. I would never have thought.
I know, not like we that's the beauty of who we are from a minority perspective too.
Exactly.
You know, don't judge a book by its cover when you see guys like.
I mean, I'm guilty, man. I lack in the reading of the books, man. Still waiting for the audiobook though to come out.
Right. Maybe that's where we're gonna record them. Huh? No, but Transform Press is a company that my teammate from Bakersfield High, Greg Hoetker, started.
Wow.
You know, he's a visionary, amazing thinker. Conspiracy theorist like I am as well. You know,
I'm kind of lightweight.
I've always had my third eye open, and having a teammate like Greg who was able to continue to write while we were doing music and all these other things just opened up a gate for us. So now we have a Transform Press. You can go to transformpress.com and check out some of the series of novels that we got. One of the first series of novels was A Leg in OKC, written by Greg Hoetker. You know, it's based on the Oklahoma City bombing with some local ties. Kind of brings, definitely. You know,
so that's the first book then, right?
That's the first book from the trilogy of novels that we'll talk about
so
tonight.
Trilogy, okay.
Yeah, but we actually have multiple projects. If you go to the website, you can actually see. You know,
link it in the description down below.
Yeah, you know, definitely catch up on that information. But the Leg in OKC book led to the Black Cyanide White Pill book that I was brought in on as far as writing the forward, as it was a cross, let's say, undeniable fiction book based on the fact that it's based on true events, but the names are changed to protect the innocent. You know what I mean? And actually give it some kind of fantasy to match the reality to make the story flow. But definitely quality content that chronicles the life of a quarter black son of a half black slave that was so white he could pass, so light skinned he could pass for all white, even though he's half black.
Oh wow!
And he lives to be 100 years old, and it talks about his life, you know, after his mom passed away, and just 100 years of this amazing dude named Amos. You know, and this is an amazing book. Soundtrack coming soon as well.
I got to hear a couple snippets of the soundtrack, and just the freestyle alone, I was kind of amazed off the little system here.
Absolutely!
I can't wait to hear the finished product.
Definitely. And the beauty about the music and the soundtrack is the fact that we can take our time on that, because all of these book projects going to be transitioned to film. And that's when the soundtrack comes to life, as you're able to see the verbal expression of the book. Okay. This book is something special, though. This is Concrete Ghosts, you know, based on an Asian immigrant that comes to Bakersfield and is linked with this Asian doctor that tells her about the underground tunnels that exist under Bakersfield High that really exist, right?
Oh wow!
And she ends up living.
I've heard many stories of those at that school, man.
And it's definitely like I used to get caught hitting females in the lower bunkers and secret hidden tunnels in coaches' offices that we had. You know, there's some controversy in there. Some people caught doing things that they're not supposed to in this book. Man. But ultimately the immigrant comes, she ends up being the all-seeing eye under the campus, you know, sets up cameras. Oh, it's just amazing.
For y'all don't know,
undeniable fiction.
Bakersfield High School was actually a hospital back in the early 1900s?
Early 1900s, late 1800s. You know, established in 1893. I was class of 1994. You know, we always heard about stories about underground tunnels. All of it's locked away, but if you know, this
still
is basically bomb shelter, you know, structure that was built when it was like World War I to protect us in case things would happen that they end up cutting off. But these tunnels still exist, and there's tunnels that actually go from Bakersfield High all the way to Civic Auditorium and all the way through the city that are chronicled in this book.
Oh, shit.
Even secret clubs and like buildings that exist. Still to this day, you can go, if you have the right clearance, you can go under there and see that these buildings exist.
Yeah.
You know, but that book by my boy Greg Hoetker, you know, is just phenomenal. His brother Stuart Hoetker is one of my partners that we do music. Shout out to Third Born. He's one of my executive producers that does most of the production on the project. Also got Lachey Eddie Brock Wofford as a producer, and Merge Beats, one of my other drillers that are producing on that track or on that soundtrack project overall, as well as my partners in Arkansas with Village of the Dam, with Fury Styles and
Oh, okay.
James Newbern and Chris Newbern.
And it's nice to see
Ken
that
Jones.
you still have a tight bond with your fellow driller mates. I mean, I know you're real big on that.
Oh yeah.
Along with the also BC Renegades too, right?
Absolutely. Like I said, I'm Bakersfield through and through. And ultimately,
I think you're more of the definition of Bakersfield.
man, that is words to live by, Steve. When
Yep.
people say that, usually people try to figure out who we are, where we're from. The soil is who we are.
Well, I mean, as soon as you go out to do the college thing and then you come back, and usually people kind of like separate and don't ever return to that friendship.
Right.
Some do, some don't. Maybe one or two, but you got pretty big group people you still kick it with.
Right.
Real tight knit.
Right, and it's definitely. I think it's all based on whether it was athletics or entertainment. That's where my real foundation came from. Because I was an athlete very young.
Yeah.
Playing for Mercy Hospital, California Park on the east side.
Yep.
Growing up over there before my grandma passed away, and having to move to the west side and building the relationships I have on this side of town. That's kind of where my name originally came from. Christ International, King Christ. I was like the Los Angel because I've been known to be in places to keep people from dying.
Yeah.
Based on the fact that, man, we can't do that shit Kenny here. You know what I mean? Like just because I come from so many different areas of the town, even the south side and, in the country. Got relatives out there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of before when I was growing up, the town was such a well-knit
real small
community that we all were connected. You know what I mean? And then, one person get killed, that's the wrong person, and now it's the bond is disintegrated. But luckily, fortunately, I've been one of the people that's blessed to be able to be accepted, from all points of the map, even though, it's still, friction based on everybody living life and getting older. A lot of the friction comes from people that don't even know who we are. You know what I mean? The older cats that came from where we come from, and losing a brother to gun violence, in 2017, definitely shook me to the core, and just dealing with how I deal with the town. But I always put the town on my back, and carry it as the beacon of light it is, because we got a lot of untapped talent here, and you one of them, Steve. You do so much too. Like, we sitting here talking about me. I want you sitting here acting like you not a valuable piece to the community too, man.
I mean, I got plenty of time to get into that, man. But just
absolutely,
you're such a blessing. I want to kind of just put you on the pedestal right now, man, because people like you are very rare to come around. I mean, usually your type of caliber maybe set out to a different city or bigger city, like LA or Frisco or wherever. But, I mean, you had plenty of opportunities to go from college to you couldn't end up anywhere, but you come back to your hometown. That's very rare. Right. And actually be proud of it.
Definitely.
Given the context of what we're in, the gun violence, the homicides, and the human trafficking. I mean, it's pretty. It's not a beautiful town, but we got to make the best of it.
Hey, it's not beautiful scenery, but we got some of the most beautiful people in the world.
Exactly,
that come from this place. A lot of, name it. I'll find somebody from Bakersfield that's done it. Whether it's music, whether it's film, whether it's science, whether it's art, whether it's swimming, whether it's Olympic gold medals. Like what, I play this game called Resume Wars. You want to have a resume war? Let's go at it. Let me take my glasses off so you can see what I'm saying. Like as far as like when it comes down to where you from and what your area code is and what you've done, I can find somebody from Bakersfield that has done everything you want to brag on. Exactly. So let's go.
I heard that.
So it just get hot as the motherfucker out here.
Yeah, that's the only downfall is. I mean, I went to Vegas, man, and it's right there next to it, man. Right. 118, 120 here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get into your beginnings, man. I mean, I know you went to BHS. College at started at BC or?
I went to college right out BHS to BC. I wasn't a great student, very unsupervised. It was funny because playing as athletes, we were team leading, interception getters and all that. But when the coaches from USC came, they wanted to see the guys that was in college prep classes that had straight A's, and I'm like, dang, I got C's. All right, I'm going to BC. Mm-hmm. But, it was the best decision I ever made. The history that exists at Bakersfield College changed my life as well. I'm a second-generation Bakersfield College guy. My Uncle Manuel was a state champion legend at Bakersfield College, potential Hall of Fame nominee. As I'm also on the Hall of Fame committee for Bakersfield College, we're having the inaugural Hall of Fame induction for Bakersfield College this
huge.
fall. This is huge. We just barely set up the board of directors for that this past month. We've had our second meeting this past month, so that's amazing.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Dream come true, really. I mean, it's, from what our town is, people undervalue what Bakersfield College means on a national scale, from an athletics and academic perspective. It's 30,000 students that go to Bakersfield College.
Well, unfortunately, college tuition is very expensive these days, man, and had the BC kind of affordable for, not the everyday, millionaires or,
right,
people that are well off on good jobs. It's kind of a blessing for those people.
Absolutely. Especially for second chances. I was a second chance guy. Nobody expected me to do a tenth of the things that I've done. And, going to Bakersfield College and have an opportunity to extend my college career from there. Then going on to San Jose State from Bakersfield College, having the coaching change, and ended up having to go to Arkansas, Ouachita Baptist University.
How was that?
Culture shock out of this world. Ultimately, I was
that West Coast flavor over there in Arkansas.
Oh man, first one of the first Cali kids to show up. You know what I mean? Yeah. As a full ride scholarship guy at this all white private school, and changed the scope of what the school was from an athletic perspective. Now they're one of the most winningest colleges in Arkansas. Yeah. Over the last 10 years, we've won the most games as far as even the Razorbacks and everybody else. So, we brought the winning vibe from California all the way to OBU. Shout out to my Tigers.
Man, that's amazing, man.
Right.
So how long were you in Arkansas?
I was in Arkansas for 2 years, but then I transitioned to Arizona where, I hope to continue my professional playing career. Ultimately, I got a torn knee in my 7th game of my senior year in Arkansas. I was never the same player. Had a chance to try to walk on as a free agent in Arizona. Didn't pan out. Career ends faster than you expect. Ended up going into the coaching lanes and coaching at the collegiate level. And, and that's ultimately what kind of brought me back to Bakersfield, was getting a collegiate coaching position at Bakersfield College. At the same time, I had to come back and get custody of my brothers and sisters.
Oh, wow.
So it was kind of a combination of things. I wasn't in a rush to come back home, but it was a situation where, hey, Ken, if you don't come back, your brothers and sisters is about to go into the system.
Yeah.
So you can keep chasing your dream and your football and stuff, or you can come back and try to help them like your family helped you.
Yeah.
And I wasn't gonna be a hypocrite and just continue this selfish dream, because I felt like I was sacrificing too much of my family for my selfish ambitions as an athlete. And you battle depression, you lose the game, you go from making $8,000 a week to possibly $400 a week if you're lucky, you know what I mean, at the job that you get, as you're waiting to transition. And that was a real humbling feeling, and kind of one of the reasons why, if you can't find a way to redefine yourself after something you called yourself great at, how great are you? You know what I mean? So, I was always looked at as, the football player, and then football's taken away. What else are you great at? It feels good to be able to sit here with you and look down at the table at some of the other things that we're great at. 20
keep in mind that this table's almost full. You got magazines, you got books, bottles.
Right, but that's the beauty of who we are. We brothers, you know what I mean? I told you that. I want to say 99% of what's on this table wasn't created before I met you. You know what I mean? This is just some of the stuff that's happened.
And I see the process as you going along. I see the timeline, the process, the meetings, the outlines.
Right, the failures, the failed meetings.
Now, do you think that point of time that was maybe like a crossroads in your life, or maybe that was gonna either set you up or fail? How were you feeling at that time?
Well, I always. I looked at life as failure waiting on you every day you walk out the door, man.
I've heard that, man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, people always underestimate how the world is bent on failure. Like, shoot, stars implode, right? You know what I mean?
Asteroids hit the
right.
dinosaurs.
Like, this is a blessing for us to be able to sit here and actually follow through with something that you talked about doing 2 calendars ago. You know what I mean? And that gives me a zest for life to just, be thankful to be here and share it with you. But just think about how much we plan on doing that we never get to do. You know what I mean? And I've lost people. I lost a teammate Friday to a heart attack.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Rest in peace, John Scott. You know what I mean? Like, and I buried 2 brothers over the past 4 years. Like, it's a lot of plans that my friends and some of my people had. Like, even my boy that just passed away, my teammate, his wife is a high-end cocktail waitress in Vegas.
Yeah.
We were supposed to meet in 3 weeks so she can introduce me to some hotels and stuff like that. Like, so much stuff that we talk about doing that don't happen if you just don't act on that ambition, man. So I want to celebrate you on that, without continuing to talk about what I've been able to do, because it's a beautiful thing, man. Seeing
I appreciate it. I appreciate the praise, man. I mean, it's just can't buy time. Time's the most hardest thing to ever come by. I mean, money comes and goes. Relationships come and go. Your kids and time is just something you can, or time with your kids and say you can't get back. And it's just, I'm guilty of procrastinating or, lack of motivation, but sometimes you have to get up and just, you got to make it happen.
Man, Steve, you're a single dad.
Yeah.
like this is thing. Like, I don't know if you wanted me to talk about this or not. I'm throwing it out there.
This is the Uncut podcast, man.
Like this,
you gotta let people know
right.
It's not always about the glory or the praise, man. You gotta have the pushbacks and heartbreaks and all that.
Right, and this is how raw it is, uncut. We got Stuart Hoetker. I just talked about Third Born, one of my producers. I'm in the middle of this podcast, so I'm gonna just go ahead and answer. Stu, how you doing? I'm sitting here with my boy Big Steve. He's doing the Everyday Entrepreneur podcast, and we was talking about the book soundtracks, and life in general, and how it's important that we can't wait. We got to act on ambition, and get projects done. I'm sitting here looking at Greg's books.
You got to answer that phone too.
I was just talking about, just how proud I am of Steve and how he followed through on his podcast, and now here we are 2 years later doing the podcast. Talking about highlighting what I've been doing based on the fact that he was there before most of this stuff was even thought about, and you called. So I just want to give you a shout out. Shout out to Third Born who just called. What you got to say to the world, Third Born? Give him a shout out. What we got coming up?
Big project, man, that I'm very, very proud of. And I think something different for the heads that can't reveal too much, but
Right. Talk about some of the producers we got featured on that project.
me, we got Merge from here in town, and then my boy Mathematics out in South Africa.
Big shout out.
We got Mathematics all the way from South Africa on the project. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I love, man. It's one of my favorite songs I ever heard, man. They thought we'd be gone, but we still here, Stu.
If they got the feeling to put some type of piece of art together, whatever it may be, just go for it and put it out there for the world, man.
Absolutely, Stu. Well, I appreciate your call, man. We in the middle of this episode, but that's how raw it is.
That's
we want to show how life is, to show people that we're not just talking. The project, like the same way that life just brought Stu into the podcast is the same way that me and Steve has talked about our ideas over the past 2 years and watching them continue to follow through.
We got to get Stu on the podcast too.
Crazy, man. Yeah,
Right. No doubt. We got to get you on the next podcast.
Oh, for sure. Method over in South Africa, middle name turned out to be Stewart, man. It's crazy.
Wow. So our producer's middle name in South Africa for one of our tracks just happens to be Stewart.
Oh, wow.
And this is Stewart on the phone. We just met this dude this year. If that ain't the universe lining up, I don't know what is.
That's divine intervention right there.
Wow. And I can't wait till he see this.
No matter what your background is as far as beliefs, thoughts, all that, man, somehow, some way, all folks come together, man, thinking well.
Absolutely. And that's what Unify stands for. No doubt, baby. All right, bro. I'll get with you.
All right, Kenny.
All right. Take care. Speaking of, we talk about so much. We haven't even really talked about Unify and what my company really does. So I own a sports music and film company called Unify. We do a lot of building and branding and management and just connecting the dots. That's really where a lot of our glue comes from, is from our company Unify. And I want to shout out my president, Jason Jackson. I also want to shout out my CFO, Pardeep Dinsa. I got the Indian community behind us.
Oh, for sure.
You know, we definitely, it's just the idea of our company as a whole was just, we were just so tired of separation. Like, Stuart's white, right? I don't know if people know that. Stuart's white. If you saw Stu, you would think he was an accountant, right? Like, he's got glasses. You know, he's about 5'9", but he's a former MMA fighter, former Coast Guard guy.
You don't want to fuck with Stu.
He's the brother of my teammate, Greg Hoetker, who's the lead on Transform Press that we talked about earlier. And he's the MC called Third Born that I've featured on some of his projects over the last 5 years or whatever. But that was the actual goal of our company, Unified, was to bring cultures of people together. You know, here you are, my Mexican brother. Mm-hmm. Here I am, the black man. I don't like being called African American, by the way. I'm going to just go ahead and let y'all know. If you're not calling white Africans African Americans, don't call me one. Because there's a lot of white Africans.
Or it was the Hispanic,
right?
Hispanic.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so, I'm definitely, I got Hebrew Israelite cousins that don't like me calling myself black. I'm like, hey, whatever it is. I'm going to just pick one and stick to it, man. I'm a human being. I'm an alien inside, though. But ultimately, the goal of our company was to actually bring cultures of people together to eliminate the stereotype that people are so different. You know what I mean? Man. Like, really, we go through the same stuff and we talk about each other for the same stuff. I got piece of shit cousins and uncles and homeboys that ain't never stepped a foot in my house because they pieces of shit.
Exactly.
Pieces of shit come in all colors. You know what I mean?
You gotta love them from a distance, though.
Right. I love them from a distance.
Shoot them a 5 or a dub.
Right. Whatever it is. But, you got good people, you got bad people. I hate putting colors on stuff because I've actually had a lot of people from other races and cultures that have done more for me than people that look just like me. Yep. I've had family members steal my last $10 before. Exactly. You know what I mean?
I went to West High, man. Class 05, shout out.
No doubt. Exactly, my boy man. Kenny Graham and all them.
Graham,
yeah.
Man. Brandon Smith.
Boys. My boy B. Smith. Shout out B. Smith, Matthews, Jefferson, all them young cats, man. Yeah. But I coached a few legends out of that West High.
Those are some good dudes, man. Let me tell you. When I went to high school, it was kind of they try to pop out the race war type thing.
Oh, yeah. We had it too.
I kept it cool with everybody, though, man. I was a DJ in school, man, so
right.
Kind of just went about my business.
Nice. I ain't gonna lie. We definitely, BHS was crazy. Like
crazy.
Man, we had the black versus Mexican riots. We had the black versus cowboy riots. We had the black on black riot. Exactly. We had the East Side versus West Side riot. It was just you got people, but that's an example of what I'm saying, man. Like you got knucklehead.
You're probably friends with half of them right now.
What
too.
Exactly? You know how many people I'm friends with that I had to slap upside the head in high school?
What the hell we're thinking about back in the day, bro?
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. But that's the beauty about growth. And I'm also a motivational speaker for youth and an administrator for a girls' youth facility, right?
Exactly.
So every day I go to work, I have to be motivational to help kids. And I remind them.
Or they be trying to clown you too, like, girl, I invented that.
What? Yeah, I'm from the streets.
Exactly.
What you talking about?
Don't let this tie fool you.
Right. Don't let the smooth taste fool you.
Exactly.
But just reminding them that, hey, the beauty of having me in your life right now is that I'm not the square. I'm not the cat that was not part of what I'm telling you to avoid. I can tell you to avoid it the right way based on me doing it. Yeah. That's what I got to do at 7 a.m.
Exactly. You took the failures for them already, man.
Right. Definitely. It's one of those things you got to continue to remind these kids. We just trying to give you the game that we didn't have or didn't get early enough.
Exactly, man. Let's talk about your. I know you got a lot of hats and a lot of different titles. Also, we left out the BC Renegade commentator, man. How's that?
Nice, man. So as
even you forgot,
right? Usually when people ask me what I do, I ask them how much time they got.
We got plenty of time, man.
Right. But Bakersfield College, I'm a host of the Renegade Report, so a lot of the Bakersfield College athletes that's probably gonna watch the podcast, this may be related to you and through the community or whatever. All athletic shows and highlights are done from our internal sports media platform. I'm one of the hosts for the show. I also handle a lot of the color commentary for all football games with my boy Vance Palm. Shout out to Vance Palm, my boy VP, CSUB legend, Arvin Bear legend.
Wow.
You know, deep pockets used to play. This you talking about balance. Let's talk about balance. My boy VP used to be an entertainer on the cruise ships.
Oh wow.
Over there singing and playing piano and stuff after you finish dunking on people for Cal State. So like we it goes to show how plentiful the talent is from generations.
And not just sticking to one thing.
From Kern County,
Yep.
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like just bringing up random people, like the random names we bring up, we can talk about the talent that they have in multiple areas. And that kind of describes the value of what Bakersfield is. You know,
that kind of feeds you too, to kind of grow your mind and grow your
the
acceptance.
confidence. Yeah,
exactly.
You know, it give you the confidence. Like, hey, if he can do it, I can do it. You know,
Exactly.
that's really what I get and what we got early from coming from Bakersfield. Because one of the things we had, you know, coming from here is that, oh, you from Bakersfild? Oh, yeah. By the end of this game, you're going to really have a different perspective of what Bakersfield is. That's where we whoop y'all ass.
Don't get it fucked up.
The L.A., Frisco, we whoop the ass all over the place. Go check the records. They didn't put me on cover of books for nothing. But
It's not a town you just pass on the 99.
Right. You know, you know
I-5.
how many people came out here, even LA teammates, like they came and played in college with me that just didn't understand what they were about to be seeing from a competition perspective, and they end up sitting on the bench behind me. I ain't never sat on the bench behind nobody from LA. Ask them.
Exactly.
But you know, I love LA. LA's, you know, my whole family's from LA. I'm the first person from Bakersfield from my whole family.
Oh, wow.
Everybody, like my mom, my grandma, and they all from Watts and, you know, in Long Beach. My grandpa grew up on 19th Street, you know, and I spent summers on 19th in Alameda, like Snoop Dogg's neighborhood. And still got connections with Uncle Snoop. Salute to Snoop and my cousin Natalie Gator that sings background for Snoop Dogg, and my comedian Lil G from Compton that appears in, you know, Snoop's videos and comedic movies.
So I just learned something today.
Right. Rest in peace, Ricky Harris, who I was on tour with for about 4 years before he passed away as the spoken word poet. You know, so we're very connected with Long Beach and L.A., you know, and even they like, man, I didn't know Bakersfield was this real. Hey, well, all your cousins that left, they just moved down the street. We're only an hour away. You know what I mean? You know, so that mentality itself, you know, is what helped us continue to exceed and excel, you know, more than anything.
Let me get one more hat, man. Road manager for 112.
Oh yeah,
Can't leave that out, man.
Shout out to my partner, Paulie Calhoun, Lucky Calhoun, DJ Lucky Calhoun. These were guys that were working, you know, as far as the sound team, you know, that actually brought me in.
So how did that even happen?
You know, how that happened, my cousin Goody, my cousin Darren Gibson was funding these concerts. Like I talked, you know, like my family comes from.
So he was a promoter, or
well, he's just the money. You know,
he's a backer.
like just basically backing the shows to come here and partnering with people that want to do shows. And I just happen to be the little cousin that's rapping and into music, so I end up being the driver. You know, and drove for 112 for between 2004 and 2008. Amazing experience.
That's kind of at their peak, right?
No,
Peaches and cream.
No. I won't say it was at their peak. I'll say it was actually following the legacy. I would say their peak was the Biggie's legacy. You know what I mean? You got to think back to when Big was alive. Yeah, you know, that's the peak. Yeah. When I was working for him, it was really kind of like a downsizing period, and the group is kind of, you know, going and doing their own thing. Yeah. And Slim had separated, you know, and was doing his own thing for a minute, which the team that I was working for actually worked for Slim. So I kind of went and worked and helped brand some of Slim's first singles, you know, and helping get those in the DJ's hands on the West Coast. But ultimately, one of the greatest experiences I ever had.
What was that like?
Very humbling. You think that you want to be part of this business until you find out what the business really is.
Always on the road.
You know, always on the road, spending just as much money as you.
So are you driving like the big tour buses, or?
No, I'm driving regular rental cars.
Oh, okay.
Like hey, Kenny Cow, we about to be in LA in 3 hours. You know, make sure the cars is there.
I got airport and
pull up to the airport, 3 minivans or SUVs. I got 2 other drivers that I hired that might have been my players that I was coaching at the time, and you know, let's hit this freeway and get on it. You know, and that then it basically transitioned into performance opportunities after continuing to build those relationships. really being a fly on the wall when guys like Jeezy and Future, records were being produced and being created from these same producers. You know, these are guys that work with Dungeon Family and the Calhoun, Freddie Calhouns, and all all of those authentic Dungeon Family Atlanta records, College Park. You know, and actually having the opportunity to be a fly on the wall while they working on these records, and actually realizing like, dang, all these years I wanted to be the rapper in here. Now I'm just the driver. It ain't so glamorous, but I'm glad to be here. Yeah. You know what I mean? And this is more valuable than anything. You know, so definitely love the opportunity of working with my boy Paulie Calhoun, man. One of my greatest mentors I ever had, man. You know, he was one of the first people that taught me how to appreciate silence, man. When you work in music and people lying and everybody want to tell you how much money they got and cars they got, you know, you never realize how good it feels to be in a room of silence. He was one of the first people that told me that, and after that it was like the Matrix. You remember when Neo saw the little trickle downs on the screen? The little binary. That's how I felt when P. Calhoun said that. Shout out to Paulie Calhoun.
Now you say that the business was like maybe how would you say, like open your mind to the whole business side of music and the industry to help you, you know, now?
Oh, definitely, because, you know, watching people you looked up to argue over the same amount of money that you might make on your regular check was kind of like, dang, I thought this was gonna be greater. You know what I mean? But you know, you realize that the music and performance is just a job too. You know, like as fans, we think it's just glamorized. Like they got
the Lambos and
the roses throwing at their feet, like Coming to America everywhere they go. When really, you know, it's a job, and then they working for 2 weeks. They gone from their families, and then they been gone. So as soon as they get back, all the money they made, they got to spend on bills. You know, and it goes right back into the family. So that was the most humbling experience for me, and would let me know that I was okay not pursuing a career as an artist.
Oh wow!
After I was a driver for 112, that let me know that my life will be okay if I'm not an artist.
Wow, that's kind of hard to accept too, because you know that what if is the back of your mind, and you get to see the what if without actually, you know, putting in the time and the tears into it.
Yep, you know, but it's definitely it was an honor to be part of the process, and I still keep in contact with those guys. You know what's funny, speaking of balance, my boy Paulie Calhoun, who I talked about being my mentor, he transitioned into youth sports coaching and coached thousands of football players from Atlanta and helped them go to the NFL. So over the last 15 years since we both kind of transitioned, and I transitioned back into broadcasting at Bakersfield College, he transitioned into youth sports and sent about probably 100 kids into the NFL. And now, like, I get to call those kids and have interviews on my sports shows. Oh, wow. And talk about the dynamic of
full circle.
Me working for 112 in music and having an opportunity to meet them and how they transitioned into sports. We all transitioned into sports at the same time, you know, from a certain standpoint. And watching him now has his apparel company, Free Game Universe Apparel in Atlanta. So it's definitely a quality group of people, man. You know, some of our favorite people in the world, man.
Oh, wow.
Definitely.
So one of the main focus on this type of podcast is kind of like the people that want to get into something that, you know, they kind of have, you know, a mindset, hey, you know, I want to do this when I get a little bit older, or still in high school or young. Let's talk about, you know, you went through the struggles and all that. What would you give the advice, you know, to somebody who wants to get into something that you know, the plush or the writing the books, or, you know, the driver for 112 or the rap industry or music industry? What kind of advice would you give them?
The best advice I got for anybody is to stay away from small-minded thinkers. Mm-hmm. Like the people that the person that say you can't do that the most, like we all got one. I got cousins definitely like that. Mm-hmm. Like it's people I grew up with that never would have believed I would do anything.
They're probably still not doing nothing.
Still ain't doing nothing. You know what I mean? But it's those small-minded thinkers that poison your thought process to get you to thinking you can't do what you got an opportunity to do. Man. Like if I can't not stress it, stay away from people that are that you can't do that type. Like, just like thinking that your idea too big and all that. Like, you got to stay away from those people, because most of the things I've accomplished have been based on the fact that I just tuned people out and just went and did it. Yeah. Like, even whether it was showing up at an audition, you know, like, there's a lot of people that be like, oh man, you going to that? Man, they ain't gonna be worth nothing. And then it could be the opportunity to change your life.
Exactly.
But you allowed somebody that didn't have the confidence in themselves to do anything to talk you out of something. Like, that's the only advice I'm gonna give to anybody, is to stay away from small-minded thinkers. Also, stay away from the people that you got in your life that don't ever want to celebrate you.
Yeah.
Cause I'm a celebrator. Like, boy, I'm a huge cheerleader. I'm gonna be your biggest cheerleader. You know, I'll be your biggest fan. You know, in whatever you do, because I want to pour positive energy into you. You got to make sure you got people around you that want to pour positive energy into you, to where you, no matter whether you believe it or not, you feel better about the idea of even taking part in it. You know, just based on the fact that you surrounding yourself with positive energy, because energy is contagious.
Absolutely.
You know, you man, and I work in an environment full of negative energy. Like, I'm an administrator for a teen girls youth home. If you don't think it's negative energy in there every day, you're insane. So
a bunch of different attitudes in there.
Yeah, but I'm the type of guy that's gonna sing Louis Armstrong, "It's a Wonderful World" while y'all fighting, and then y'all gonna look at me like, why is he singing that? Because, hey, I'm just trying to change the mood in here. Exactly. You know what I mean? And then they so thrown off by me singing that they done forgot they mad. Yep. Like, and that's what I feel like. If the world was filled with those kind of people, we find a way to kind of get more done. Like, because it's like, depression is real, and I've been depressed so often recent months. You know what I mean? Shit, this weekend. You know what I mean? Like. And just finding a way to,
whether you got that stack of dishes in the sink, or the pile of clothes on the bed,
whatever it is, the PG&E high, exactly, or no matter what it is, man. Like, we got to find a way to trick ourselves back onto the right track, because the world's like, let's go back to the first 10 minutes where we talked about stars imploding.
Exactly.
Like, this universe is meant to squeeze the life out of everything in it and make it just, you got to make sure you don't allow yourself to be too consumed by everything that's happening, and just continue to be a star.
I've heard that, man.
That's it.
And one of the things I want to ask you as an entrepreneur and getting into things is that having, your lovely wife that, she's a sweetheart.
Man,
having that support and kind of you to do your dreams or what you're passionate about. How important is that to you?
Oh man,
or to anybody getting into this type of business?
Boy, I'm glad you did that, Steve, and that just go to show how on point you are, because none of this works without balance at the house.
Yeah,
I've seen so many guys blow family trying to chase a dream that wasn't meant for you to chase at the time.
Yeah.
Like, and you gotta have the right kind of person in your corner that's gonna be able to tell you that this dream ain't worth chasing right now. You know what I mean?
Be real and upfront with you.
Right. But when she see it work, she gonna be there for you. And you see how my wife right for me. Like, it's a lot of the things that I do, she right there. Whether it's stage manager at the next episode concert series that we do, or PRX 360, another entertainment company that we partner with.
And I've seen at the Plush events too. She's right there.
Yeah, Plush events, whatever it is. I feel like I cannot be successful if my woman ain't riding with me how I need her to ride. Exactly. But also making sure that I'm not just leading her down some false ass dream, and just using her for what she has. Yeah. To further myself without really being honest with her about
which happens a lot nowadays. You get that IG life and the boats and the sandy beach and
all that fake stuff.
Mercedes.
Oh man, you know how many of them people live in apartments like struggling.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like everybody they know money. You know what I mean?
Credit cards.
What? Like, and me and you, like, our neighborhood is our neighborhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Me and you definitely can afford to live somewhere else,
Absolutely.
right? You know what I mean? If we wanted to, we can go over there across town where our relatives that think they ball and live at and try to live above our means. But I think that's one of the cancers of our minority culture is the fact that we so in a rush to show people
exactly
we at their level that we drown in trying to keep up. You know, and I think from a men's perspective, some of us are so consumed with showing people how cool we are and what we got that we lose touch with what our woman is telling us what we need to do.
Yep.
You know, if you got the right kind of woman, you know what I mean? You know, it's definitely...
Because at the end of the day, it's just you and her. I mean, nobody else can pay your bills. Nobody else can come cut your grass or, you know.
Right. And large percent of the time, the guys that are putting on that front like that, they ain't nothing in their name. Name ain't on the lease.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The police come, they gotta leave. You know what I mean? Like that's the wrong image to be trying to push. Like I would never push that. My name is on my paperwork. but what I'm saying
you got
is
receipts.
Right. But like it's just so much of the wrong image that we've tried to push as men. You know, in certain aspects. That's why I give you so much credit. Shoot, it's not like my one of my best friends, Dean Taylor, Oklahoma City, by way of Bakersfield. You know, one of my former teammates. I told you the story about Dean and his kid's mom.
Oh yeah,
leaving the kids on him when he was 19.
That's young,
you know what I mean? And like I'm playing college football, and he like, man, she left the baby here. I'm like, oh man, now he's a single father.
Yep.
I see your reflection in him and vice versa based on the fact that when I see you and your beautiful daughters and you getting up and going to work every day and doing the business, having the business meetings that you have when seeing clients come by, like that's real man. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like that's the image of man that we need to try to push, you know, over the classic, I don't want to say xenophobic, but just like the stereotypical man,
typical
old school,
life.
like the old school way of man. Like
I just don't want to be a slave to the 9 to 5. No, I'm tired of 9 to 5.
Right. I am too. I'm a man, boy.
4 a.m. to 1 to 10 o'clock at night.
You got me looking at my watch now. I got to get up at 7.
Exactly.
And that's how real we is too.
Exactly.
We definitely got 9 to 5s.
Yeah,
I got man.
Luckily, I'm off tomorrow, so.
Oh, he gonna rub it in.
Shitty days off, man, but days off are day off.
Right.
All right, man. Right. So let's get into what do you see yourself as your future or your future goals? I mean, you accomplished a lot in the short amount of time I've known you. You know, he's going a little over 3 years, and you got at least 2 books, magazine, layouts, the Plush. So what's next for Kenny Calvin?
Man, Big Steve, I'm one of the rare cases of people that have already lived every dream they got or had. Mm-hmm. Like, ain't nothing more I could ask for out of this universe except for success for my kids. You know, and I can't even fix my lips to try to ask for something else.
Let's give a shout out to your kids, man. You got one son in the Army.
I got 2 Army sons.
2 Army sons?
I got my oldest son, DiMaggio Davion Calvin. He retires from the Army.
We can't leave him out, man.
I got my son Kamani, my stepson Kamani Howington. We don't stay step. You know, that's my king, young king. Mm-hmm. He's in Korea right now. He's an MP. He's been there for about 2 years. He on his way back.
Shout out to the Army.
Georgia in July. Army gang. My daughter Kari, she's a sophomore hooper at BHS. KC3. I was cold. She might be colder. I'm gonna just tell you. KC3 might be the one. You know, I got my brother Jabay. You know, I got my brother, my sister Kiba, my brother Ahmad. You know, Carter gang. You know, I had custody of my brothers and sisters since they was young. They all transitioning over 18 now, but you know, they all part of our fabric.
And big up to you, man, for taking the responsibility. I know it's not easy, man, and you know, it could have went either way. And you know, luckily to have you there to support them and you know, care for them, man.
Same suit, reheated, Steve.
Exactly, man.
I was out of my mom's custody at 7. Mm-hmm. Lived with my grandma till I was 12. She died when I was 12. I was homeless for a good year, sleeping on my boy Joey Porter's couch. You know, until my cousin Cricket came and found me, and now, you know, she gave me a stable environment to live in, and my Aunt Bev, you know, gave me a stable environment to live in, even though my Aunt Bev was the queen pin, you know, former dealer, one of the first bloods, you know, from LA, you know, that end up transitioning down here. We got a movie coming about my Aunt Bev too, you know, as well. If your family members bought dope between Union Avenue in Chester from 1988 to 91, they bought it from my Aunt Bev.
Oh wow! So we got a movie coming out on that.
I'm telling you, it's like we got so much family history. You know, and this is one of the things that turned me off from the streets so early, because my Aunt Bev, and rest in peace Uncle Lawrence Edwards, used to give me $10 every time I rode my bike around the block to make sure a white van wasn't out there. You know what I mean? And like, you know, this is the kind of life that
that's the early days of entrepreneur.
What? I was 8th grade going to Emerson. You know what I mean? Like living on 9th and N in some apartments.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like that was the kind of environment that I grew up in after my grandma passed away, and being one of those kids that was from neighborhood to neighborhood, but being exposed to that kind of life helped me realize what's the right kind of life you want to live. Like, you've seen it all. Yeah. Like what kind of life do you want? It all. Yeah, like you've literally seen it. You know what I mean? So what kind of life do you want? I don't want to be a guy that's kind of trying to push, I'm a gangster at 44. You know what I mean? The fast money. Like, yeah, you know, like that's a part of the past. And so we're going to bring that story to life for my Aunt Bev. Rest in peace.
Yeah, can't wait to see that, man.
Oh, it's going to be amazing.
All right, man. So let's go and give, if you want to give any shout outs to, I know you got quite a bit of shout outs already, man, but you know.
Man. You know, definitely.
Let's get into maybe the magazines. We didn't get to the layouts, man.
Right.
Congratulations on that.
You know, I appreciate Sweet Life SoCal. This was an LA-based Hollywood magazine that featured us. You know, definitely an honor to be part of this project.
Look at that, man.
This
full page layout.
Amazing write-up. This was amazing. You know, multiple issues. You know, shout out Sweet Life SoCal. Shout out to our company, Unify. You know, Unify Sports, Music, and Film. You know, Google Ken Calvin and Unify for all the information. Shout out to Transform Press. You know, like I said, Concrete Ghost, Black Cyanide, White Pill, A Leg in OKC. You know, you can get all of those at Transform Press. You know, but ultimately, right now, one of the biggest feathers in our cap is Plush Vodka. You know, it's definitely been an honor.
Which, by the way, is absolutely delicious. You need to try it.
You know, we have one of the only plum vodkas in the world, 8 times distilled, gluten-free, New York-based product, CEO Malcolm Hale, partner owner Richard Daly. You know, we're doing some amazing things. I'm part of the team that helped bring it to California after having a music assignment with the company. Yeah. They love the way we handle marketing, and it's been a beautiful.
Which, by the way, your marketing journey is on point, man. I mean, kind of get into the social media marketing part, man. I see you on there every day on the gram, on live. Messenger stories, man. You're doing a good job, man.
Man, I definitely. What's funny about that, Steve? I'm one of the most anti-social workers
here, man.
you can have. So
it's actually one of the first times be in front of the camera. I'm always behind it.
Right, I know, and that's what's funny. When you said you wanted to do it, I was like, hey, Steve, if you're willing to go ahead and put yourself out there, I don't mind being transparent for the world, man.
I was about to be a DJ Vlad style behind the camera.
Right. Because I'm the same way, man. You know, definitely. My life's an open book, but I'm a very private person. You see, it's not a lot of people pulling up. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, we don't get a lot of randoms, but ultimately, man, you know, I appreciate your spirit, man. You do amazing things for people, you know, without even ever wanting a piece of credit. You know, and I just want to be here to help celebrate your journey, man. Let's get this journey started, man.
We're gonna leave all Kenny's IG information, Facebook. You can contact with him. Shout out to Unify. We're going to leave all the links to his books. Where can you find it again?
Transformpress.com. Transformpress.com. All my social media is KenCryce. That's Ken Christ at gmail.com. You know, if you want to send an email. But, you know, all my social media is Ken Christ. Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. You know, what else we talk about? We got Unify. You know, sports are opening back up. Shout out to the Kern High Network. I'm also a broadcaster there. So if you got student athletes that are playing in the Kern High School District, we're going to give them all the love that they could get. Bakersfield College, we got that $20 million stadium up there, about to get ready to crack that off. We got the same AstroTurf that the Patriots and the Saints got. You know what I mean? With the $17 million jumbotron, we just got $455 million from Measure J. Y'all better stop playing with me talking about money when it comes to Bakersfield. But we got deep pockets.
Absolutely. All right, man. Kenny Calvin, man, I appreciate you, man.
Love you, Big Steve. Man. You already know.
Again, appreciate you coming on the podcast and bearing with me through this little technical journey and visual journey and just a journey in general, man.
Absolutely, man. It's an honor, bro.
This ain't going to be the first or last, man. We'd like to get you back on with your people or, we come back on from time to time.
Absolutely. Let's get it.
And we're out.